Happy New Year, everyone. Sorry I haven't been uploading. I've been kind of hooked on Final Fantasy XIV. Anyways, let's start this New Year's off right with my top 5 crossovers of all time. Firstly, what makes a good crossover? Over the last few years, we've seen a number of crossovers from movies and video games. Some good, some bad. But what exactly makes them good? From what I've gathered, it's the faithfulness of which the character is represented in the crossover. For example, in Turtles Forever, the 80s Turtles are shown to be really incompetent, and everything just seems to be a joke with them, when they really weren't like that in their own series. They didn't even have the original voice cast for the 80s Turtles. I think only one of them returned? I don't remember. Probably none of them, actually. A good example is another Ninja Turtles crossover with the newer series. The 2012 series of Turtles had a crossover with the 87 Turtles, and they did it completely differently. They brought back the original voice cast. They actually treated them like characters and not punchlines. So, for this list, I'm going for faithfulness more than anything else, but also bizarreness. Yeah, you'll see. So, on to number 5. Spider-Man: No Way Home. My inspiration for making this list, so I had to include it. It's a great movie, go out and see it. Spoilers ahead. So, Marvel brought back the previous Spider-Man and villains of those movies. And what made me want to add this to the list because it feels like they lifted them straight from the movies. One of my favorite parts of the movie was when Electro fights the MCU Spider-Man for the first time, and then Sandman shows up to help him out. I don't know why, but that really got to me. I guess it's because the writers could have just made Sandman a villain from the start to add another big action scene, you know? What also got to me was the interactions the villains have with each other. You never saw that in the first movies. Number 4, I have Mortal Kombat. I picked this for its unique choice of characters to cross over with. You have some obvious ones like aliens and predators, plus some horror icons like Freddy and Jason. Then there's the Terminator, surprisingly not voiced by Arnold. And then there's Rambo, who is voiced by Stallone. Nice. This is weird, because even RoboCop was voiced by the original actor. And then there's the whole Mortal Kombat vs. DC crossover. Remember that? Yeah, I wish I didn't either. I guess since Marvel had a fighting game crossover, DC decided they needed a crossover fighting game too. But you know, this also had some fun interactions.
Yay, we're all going to hell!
Number 3 is LEGO Dimensions. This one I didn't play at all, but I really like LEGO games. And when I heard they were going to make this game, I thought they were finally going to have a Marvel DC crossover of some sort, in LEGO form. But nope. It was pretty much just LEGO HBO crossovers. We still got some pretty interesting interactions, with some really nice voice acting in him. And when they added Sonic, I wanted it still, but I was kinda over the whole Toys to Life thing. Plus, my Amiibo collection would be jealous. Number 2 is Fortnite. Now, before doing research for this video, I thought Fortnite had a lot more crossovers than it actually does, but it still has a good amount of them. Like, mostly things from pop culture like Rick and Morty, and there's also Marvel and DC characters. The last time those two were in something together was in the 90s, so you know something is special when it brings these two together. But it also has some strange ones, like some real-life people. Ariana Grande. Then there's the weirdest one.
El Chapulín Colorado!
It's this really old Mexican TV show guy. And this really came out of nowhere. I have memories of watching this with my dad when I was a kid. But aside from all that, this game does lose points for it only being skins. No voice lines. Sometimes you'll be able to buy some unique emotes related to the character, but then everyone can use them, so it's not so special. Some honorable mentions before we get to number 1.
Ragdoll at 30,000 feet, just trying to hold on.
And a plague on every corner. When half the city hated me, and the other half wanted me dead. He brought out my good side.
I'm telling you, war has changed. So you do what you have to.
number 1 is this should have been obvious. It has a huge roster of characters, and they're faithfully represented. And while the only game to have cutscenes is Brawl, a lot of the later character trailers have the characters fighting and interacting with each other. Like, what other game can you play as Snake from Metal Gear and fight Sora from Kingdom Hearts? Or Banjo-Kazooie versus Mega Man versus Simon Belmont versus Ridley? Yeah, it's crazy fun. Each character in the game, especially the newer ones, feel like they've leapt right from their own game into this one. Here are a few examples. Banjo has an extra jump helped by Kazooie, and has one of the coolest invincible moves in the game. Kazuya Mishima from Tekken has the most moves in the game and can do some killer combos. Sora has the ability to do air combos, and it feels just like it does in the Kingdom Hearts games. You see all these characters? There's actually so much more in the form of skins and music. Sans, Travis Touchdown, Dante, like come on. This game is filled with characters, references, and everything. If not a character, then a skin. If not a skin, then a spirit. If not a spirit, then maybe you should broaden your horizons in video games. And I think this is the only game, well, probably not the only game, but this is the game I've cried to for just having a character in it. Like when I saw the Banjo trailer, I cried. And that's it. Like I say every year, I want to start making more videos now that the holidays are over and done with. You know, I'll have more time. Assuming I don't spend it playing Final Fantasy XIV. Alright, so, if you liked this video, why don't you give it a like and subscribe if you want to see content similar to this one. Bye-bye.